What's up, everybody? This is Robbie, and you are watching Geek Level Asian. Today, we are asking the question, was Joker a good movie? So before we dive into anything, I think it's important to point out that a lot of people went to the theaters expecting a Christopher Nolan type of action film, when many of us knew that that is not what this was going to be. I was not expecting this mastermind type storyline where the Joker is already established. From the trailer, can already see that this is an origin story. The other obvious thing is that it's not directed by Christopher Nolan, so don't expect that type of film. So with that being said, let's go under the impression that we all know what type of movie this is going into it. Because now we can focus on the story itself. So first thing, let's talk about casting Joaquin Phoenix. I happen to be a very large fan, and I wasn't particularly sure how this was going to turn out. I didn't know what it was going to be like until I saw a little bit of the trailer. The first trailer, by the way, was amazing. Whoever made that trailer should probably win an award. But backing up a little bit, when I first saw the makeup, because the first thing I saw was like a little tiny clip, and I was like, I don't know about the makeup, but then when I saw the trailer, I was like, okay, this is gonna be awesome. So then obviously going to see the movie and seeing his performance, listen, diving into mental health issues while giving a performance can go two very different ways. And I think, in my opinion, he did it very well. I am not by any means obviously a mental health professional, but the way that they portrayed, and he portrayed his torment and they described his life and the way that he acted out all of the things that were going on, not just externally in the world around him, but internally, I thought that was done beautifully. And obviously part of that is the writing, but a lot of it is also his performance. Like, yeah, you could take that same storyline, but you throw some other actor in that role, might not have been the same thing. So now Robert De Niro as Murray, the talk show host, I thought he worked well in that role for a specific reason that actually it's like a two-part reason, and it's the different sides of Robert De Niro, right? I think he's very good at acting out as being a very relatable and lovable character, but he's also very good at being a villain, and he kind of took those two things and threw them together. So, and if you've seen the movie, obviously, that would make sense. So now moving on to the story and his decline into madness. One of my favorite parts about this film was that the audience, although they think they know exactly what's going on or they know what's happening to him, they really don't. And that's proven to us when we realize that every moment that he spent with his girlfriend in the apartment down the hall, we realize that all of that was just a fantasy. I loved that because they played a trick on us, the audience, the same way that the trick was played on Arthur. And I think that's really important because it helped us feel what it's like to be going mad. And I think that that was just a very strategic and artful move to play on the audience. Because in that moment, I remember that my theater, everyone was like, oh no, really? Because that's pretty much how he was feeling, probably a lot worse than that, but still, he was surprised, he was confused, he was upset, and we felt it too. I also really loved, there was a rumor during the trailer when you saw him putting his thumbs in the kid's face and he was making him smile. There was a rumor originally that, oh, that's child Bruce Wayne, but no one really knew if it was true. It ended up being true. That's what they did. They made that young Bruce Wayne. Now, the other thing where I guess you can say they played a trick on him and us as the audience was his performance when he was doing his stand-up, right? Because he starts out, he's laughing hysterically, and it's really awkward and weird, but they kind of make it seem like in the moment when it's happening that he started to, people started clapping, people thought it was funny, and he came into his own and it was successful. And it's not until you see that performance later when Murray is playing it on his late night television show that it didn't go well at all. And I think, again, that was the way that Arthur, the character Arthur, realized that things aren't what they seem originally, or they just aren't what they seem at all. And it's very upsetting. It could drive you into depression and drive you crazy or drive you mad because, you think one thing and that's just not reality. One of the other things that I also want to mention that I thought made the movie really work is that it wasn't just what was going on inside of his mind that was, you know, tormenting him. It was also everything that was going on in his environment, right? Because he lived in this very, very violent part of Gotham where he was getting beaten up like basically every day. I mean, he was leaving the house, he got beaten up by a bunch of children, you know, who stole his sign in the alleyway. He got beaten up by the guys on the subway. Like, he was getting it from all angles. It wasn't just that, you know, he was born and had some issues internally. He was also not in the best place for him to really develop. And I think that when it comes to the storyline itself and the development of his decline, I guess you can say, it made it very real and almost like scarily real, because the actual point I'm trying to make is when he starts killing people, when he starts murdering people, it's very eerie. It's very eerie in the sense that it's almost so realistic. Like you're really taking a first look into the mind of someone who's just been beaten so hard at every angle that this is the only thing that they think is going to work for them. And that was very disturbing, yes, but in a way that worked very well for this film. So those ended up being a bunch of things that I really liked about the film. So the question again is it a good film? Well, let's talk about some things that I think didn't work. I liked the first scene that he starts dancing in the bathroom, which, by the way, I have never seen a public bathroom like that in New York City ever. Even though obviously I don't live in Gotham, a lot of it was filmed uptown, but still, I would love to just find a bathroom like that when I need one. Regardless, when he first murders someone, it's at a point in the story where he feels serenity for the first time. And the way that he's moving, he's not jumpy, he's not nervous, he's not quiet, he's not scared. He feels perfect. I thought that scene was very moving, and it sounds like you know, I'm not sympathizing with a murderer. That's not what I'm doing. But it's just the first time in the movie where you see him let loose, and I thought that was great. But here's what didn't work: he danced too much. The movie became Joker dancing all the time. That's just what the movie is: Joker dancing all the time. And I started to kind of get like bored of it. Like, okay, I get it. He likes to dance. Here he is, dancing again. Oh, he's dancing before he goes on to Murray's show. Oh, he's dancing down the stairs. Oh, the last scene, he's dancing. Like, it was just too much dancing. So now the other thing is something that I don't know if people actually realize this was their least favorite part, but this was my least favorite part. The entire climax, when he shoots Robert De Niro on the television show, I just felt like this whole movie, and it's a long movie, was leading to this point, for him to get this to happen. And I didn't feel like it was complete. Like, I kind of almost felt like that was it. Like, I know there's the whole scene after where he's basically put on a pedestal outside by all of his clown followers who are rioting in Gotham. But, like, all of this stuff happens to him just for him to get on this show and shoot Robert De Niro in the face. Like, it just seemed anticlimactic. I don't know. You may totally disagree with me, but don't get me wrong, the conversation was hilarious. I loved how he was calling him Murray and he was antagonizing him. I love the off-color joke that he said about the son being dead. Like, I got it. I understood why they did it, but I was just kind of like, I think I was expecting a little bit more here. I think what I'm saying is I just found other scenes in the movie more important and more entertaining, and felt like I don't know, I was just more satisfied with those scenes more. So now here's the last thing. And this has nothing to do with the film itself, because the film as a whole is what it is. The last thing has to do with what would happen after. We've seen so deep into Arthur's mind, we've seen so deep into who he is, we've seen how he feels about himself, how he feels about the world, how he became the Joker, and how he has a following now. I cannot imagine Arthur ever going toe-to-toe in any way, and I don't mean physically, because he usually doesn't, ever going toe-to-toe with Batman. Now, again, we don't know what the Batman in this continuity would be like. Obviously, he's not going to be the Christopher Nolan Batman, you know, like, maybe he wouldn't be as tough. Maybe he wouldn't be a martial artist. Maybe, you know, he never meets Ra's al Ghul. I don't know. I don't know what they would do, but I just couldn't imagine this Arthur ever going toe-to-toe really with anyone. But Bruce Wayne in this film is a little kid, so give it a number of years, who knows? Maybe at this point he's really found himself as the Joker. I don't know. I just felt like leaving the theater, I was like, I can't imagine this Joker ever becoming like a supervillain. Like, I could just imagine this being his thing now. He goes, you know, he goes to Arkham Asylum, and that's pretty much it. So now, finally, let's answer the question. Joker, was it a good movie? I have to say, it was. It was a good movie. A lot of people love it, a lot of people don't. I think that for what it was, not comparing it to other Batman movies or other DC EU movies that have to do with Joker and Batman and all that stuff, I think this movie as a standalone film was phenomenal. I think they did a really great job at portraying what the mind of someone who is going mad would be like. They helped us experience it with the character. I thought that was amazing. Now, I will say, something that I judge good movies on, and this is one of like the characteristics that I think a movie should have, and this is going against what I normally think, I think this movie doesn't have any replay value. What I mean by that is, there are certain movies that when they're on TV, I will just sit there and watch the whole thing. And to me, that's a good movie, because it was so entertaining that I want to watch it all the time, even when I'm not planning on it. If this was on TV, I probably wouldn't watch it, and I could safely say that I don't ever have to watch this movie again. I probably won't. And don't get me wrong, there are a lot of films that I thought that were great that don't really have a lot of replay value. There are some other ones, but this one I don't think really does. And so obviously this was my opinion of the Joker movie, right? This is my opinion of Joker. What is your opinion? Did you like it? I mean, I just recently saw that it surpassed 600 million, and it's, you know, in the top whatever movies in the world. I don't even want to give you a real number, because I'm sure by the time I post this video, that number's going to be different. Did you like Joaquin Phoenix? Would you like there to be a sequel? Would you like this continuity to continue? And if it does, what characters do you want to see next? Like, would it be in the future? Would you see Batman? Like, what would you do right after this film if you're continuing with the story of this Joker? And if you do like this video and you want to see more of my movie opinions and reviews, don't forget to subscribe to my channel. You could also follow me on social media. I've created yet a third Facebook now. Let's hope that this one stays. And with all this being said and talking about Joker, Halloween is coming up. Happy Halloween. Everyone have a good time, be safe, and may the power protect you.